You're listening to Real Crime, the Movie Sleuth podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have my cheap gas station coffee. Yes, I do. Jesse's looking at it going, are you sure about that? Oh, I'm definitely sure. Look at the logo on it.
No, I was just silently judging you.
That's some fucking garbage coffee right there. But I'll take this over any of that, the Big S any day, honestly. This stuff tastes better. It's real
What do you
coffee.
know about that Cafe Bustelo?
What's that? Cafe Bustelo.
Yeah, it's Hispanic coffee.
Yeah.
It's espresso.
That's of your people, isn't
That's
it?
the coffee of my
We have to
people.
build a wall around that coffee.
This is the
It's
coffee
so
I haven't
good.
had yet. We have to try this. I have to come by one. We'll have to figure something out, H, because I really want to try the coffee of your people.
Yeah, we've talked about this before.
Yes, we have. We're gonna have to do that sometime. So I got my shitty coffee. We're all sitting here shivering still because the temperature went from like 50 degrees to like 10 degrees in like one day. Welcome to Michigan.
We're all feeling it.
Welcome to Southeast Michigan, particularly.
Yeah.
And but we're here to do episode number 72.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
There is. I'm always.
Wow.
I'm not on as often, but every time I come, I'm like, man,
We should-
there's so many episodes.
We should break this up into seasons then. Like, how many years is this? Is this technically year 2 or 3?
Technically year 2, I guess.
Year 2.
Year 2?
Yeah.
Yes, it's year 2.
Yeah, I guess we could break it up into seasons if we wanted to. That'd be kind of funny.
Pilot
Getting
episode.
legit.
Yeah, the pilot. Oh, I don't want to listen to the pilot episode.
God, this is a lot.
Shit,
This
I
is-
haven't went back
yeah.
and listened to any of our
Oh,
old
God.
stuff. It's
The
probably
thing-
fucking garbage.
Not that it's related that much, but I remember like the old days of Ghostly Talk, the other show I do, when we first started doing it like in 1837.
Yeah.
The first 13 episodes,
The ripe old age of 15
Yeah.
years old.
the first 13 episodes, the other co-host Doug, who's on there, we still have them. We haven't put away like on hard drives and shit.
Yeah.
They're archived, but he still to this day, even with him not really being active on the show anymore, he's like, we will never air that. We'll never allow that to be downloaded. So it's just, you always look back on that, and that's that's cool. I think we have.
That's like your guys' Disney vault or something.
Yeah.
No, I've gone back
We've grown.
to several episodes, and they're all pretty decent. They're all pretty good.
We've grown. Chris and I think, have grown together.
Yeah.
Being the kind of the consistent people here,
Yeah.
and we really have gotten off the freight train of dick jokes.
Yeah.
We needed to get away from that.
They're there when they need to be there now.
Yeah, which is
When they
Always.
fit in.
we
Hey.
went from every 6 seconds to every 12 seconds. So
Yeah.
we're making a very
Yeah.
very good improvement. here.
Progress.
Progress. So episode 72, we got kind of a weird. We're trying different things here, which we'll be getting to that. But Chris, you're looking better and better every week.
I don't feel better.
We're all a little haggard tonight, I think, but what do we have in the news today, Chris?
So, first off, we're going to mention our giveaway. It's posted on the front page of themoviesleuth.com. We've got 5 horror movies from Wild Eye Releasing we're giving away. Also, we have to mention the Flint Institute of Arts. Check them out at flintinstituteofarts.org. They have a weekly film series going on. Also, our sponsor, projectorscreen.com.
The Flint Institute of Arts, we're getting ready. We're amping up for a road trip once the weather breaks.
Yeah, I really think that we should do that.
And we're going to do like a movie sleuth / real crime pilgrimage
Yes.
to Flint.
I'm down.
I was just in Flint this past weekend, actually, for a MUFON meeting. So I was up there kind of getting the terrain for us. Seriously, I was there for a MUFON meeting. But I was there getting the terrain together for this, so knowing where we're going to be getting ourselves into when this actually happens. So that's going to definitely happen. But check that out, Flint Institute of Arts. Go there.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Move in there. They'll let you. You get a cot. You can live there if you want. It's totally cool. They're all about that. Just go there and hang out and spend time. Chris,
I will.
what are you playing with besides yourself?
I'm just looking at something on here.
What?
Nothing. We'll
What are
we'll
you
figure
looking
that
at?
out
We'll cross
later.
that bridge when we
Nothing.
get
We'll
there.
cross
Looking
that
like a
bridge
true
when we get
bitch.
there.
Yeah.
It'll just be a little edit in a little bit.
Oh, no.
So in the news this week, Luc
yes.
Besson is pairing with Netflix to produce a batch of movies that are going to be budgeted around $30 million,
Whoa.
which is kind of crazy
Yeah.
that he's stepping back from theatrical releases and going to work directly with Netflix.
And this will tie into what
Exactly what we're
my
talking about.
point was earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, in this deal, Dan Gilroy, who directed Nightcrawler, he is also partnering with Netflix
yeah.
to make
wow.
movies directly for them.
Yeah.
Nightcrawler was
Man.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It really
Great
is.
flick.
I need to perform several oral sex techniques on everybody at Netflix.
Yeah.
I seriously worship Netflix.
Yeah, they're
We're
doing
still
some really
mad
cool
about
shit.
Sense8 though. I don't think that this changes anything.
What's it?
Well, they did make pretty good with that. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to at least close it out. In other news, The Death Cure, the third Maze Runner movie, is going to take the second weekend at the tops of the box office this weekend, which was kind of unexpected for them.
That is pretty shocking.
Ryan Reynolds' Detective Pikachu movie
What?
just added Bill Nighy to its cast, which is kind of crazy. It's a Pikachu movie.
I wonder if that's based on the Japanese Pikachu game that hasn't come over to North America yet, and it's really super goofy.
I'm pretty sure it is.
It's intentionally funny. It's not just weird Japanese funny. It's actually a comedic game, and I could kind of see that. That's funny.
Yeah, so Pikachu's still huge. In other news, Roswell, the TV series on the CW,
Yeah.
is being rebooted. They're starting the show over
really?
from scratch again. Yes.
Wow.
Which I only ever watched a few episodes of it. I was never too impressed with
Yeah.
it, but they're bringing it back and starting over from scratch.
Huh. Who's behind all that?
I don't know. The CW, I guess.
Jesus. Here we go.
Here we go.
You know
And
it's gonna
then last but not least, the new Superman prequel series, Metropolis,
Yeah.
has been officially ordered to series. They're done with the pilot. They're actually going to film a whole series out of this.
Outstanding.
Did you see? Is that the same one? Wait, who's doing that one? Where is it going?
I can't remember, actually.
Because I saw it was. It wasn't. No, it was called Krypton. I'm pretty
That's
sure.
a different series.
Yeah, sci-fi is.
Yeah,
It's sci-fi, right?
I think so.
Matt, well, that
They
looked
all have their
awesome.
different DC properties, and it's all like mingled.
Yeah. Oh no.
You know, I'm very
It's
active
Spider-Man.
on all of the DC subreddits, DC Comics, DC Cinematic, comic book movies, all that shit. Nobody cares. Nobody
No.
cares about those shows.
No, they don't. 'Cause they
Krypton at
suck.
least looks very Zack Snyder. I almost said
Does it?
Snack Snydery.
Snack Snydery.
Snack on his Snyder.
Zack Snyder.
Oh.
Yeah, it does. It looks very Man of Steel-ish, so that's cool.
In new releases this week, we've got Winchester, which is the horror movie starring Helen Mirren, the delicious Helen Mirren.
Yeah, that bitch fine.
God, I love her.
And then Bilal, the animated feature, which was actually filmed in 2015, is finally getting a release this weekend.
Is that a Thai film?
I don't think it's Thai. I think it might be Indian.
Okay.
I know Andrew was at the screening for it tonight, so we should have a review of that by the weekend. So, suggested viewings for this week. I'm going to go with Tragedy Girls, this awesome like meta horror thing about two girls who go on a killing spree in their high school, and it's very much Heathers mixed with like Jawbreaker and Cabin in the Woods, like the whole deal.
Yeah.
It's really, really good and kind of has like
Okay.
an 80s feel to it
Yeah.
too. So very reminiscent of Heathers in many ways. So
Sounds awesome.
it was pretty good. So who else has got one this week?
H.
Oh man, I unfortunately am a college student, so all I've been watching lately is my homework and basketball. So
Basketball.
yeah, I'm a college
College
basketball
basketball.
fan, like huge. And March
People
Madness
watch
is coming-
basketball still?
Oh, girl, let me tell you about some college basketball. No, but I did watch one thing on Netflix. It was a documentary called The Treasure of the God, I can't remember now. It was about a sunken ship that they found from like
Ooh.
1,000,000 years ago or whatever, and
That's
it's
an old ship.
It's incredible. They found it's like it's some treasure hunt that
You know-
people have been searching for, and they finally found it.
I think I've seen that pass by when I was
It's
goofing
awesome.
around.
It's
and
beautiful too.
Now that good. I'm glad you said
Yeah.
something because I was kind of
It's
like,
really
I'm on the
cool.
fence. Now I'll watch it for
They
sure.
pull out. They pull out a statue at the bottom of the ocean that's like 3 stories tall.
I know what
It's
you're talking about now.
Incredible.
Yeah. I saw the preview for that, and I was like, yeah, that looks interesting.
It's called like Treasure of the Unthinkable Ship or something like that.
Treasure of the
Treasures
Forgotten.
from the Wreck of the Unbelievable.
There we go. Unbelievable. That's
yeah,
it.
that's what it's called.
It's great.
That sounds interesting.
It is.
Yes.
It's actually really cool. And it's not just like some ham-and-held stuff, you know. It's actually really pretty.
Are there any hoes in this show?
Really intelligent
did that come from?
hoes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Those are the best kind.
Actually, there are some hoes because once they pull the stuff out of the water, they hose it down.
Oh,
Well,
hey-o. Jesse.
but yeah, that's it.
Wow. Okay. Brawl in Cell Block 99. Did
Yeah.
anybody make that suggestion recently?
I
Heard
don't know,
about it.
actually.
No.
I think Chris may have
well,
mentioned
it's
something.
free streaming on Amazon Prime if you have it. It's a Vince Vaughn film from 2017, right? 17?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's new.
It is fairly new though, and I think it was one of the best films of last year. And it's Vince Vaughn in a role you're not likely to ever expect him to be in, but
Yeah.
he plays a serious badass MFer.
Yeah.
It's a very long film. It's the only other film I could compare it to would be History of Violence.
Yeah.
So if you're a huge fan of History of Violence, it's like that. It's got this very slow burn story, and then this massive, absolutely fucking insane third act.
Yeah.
And it's directed by the guy that did Bone Tomahawk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Well, there's another
Which
thing I
is
have to watch
also
this week.
on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Which is also free on Amazon Prime right now.
All right. I'll have to see that. Thanks, guys. I have homework
Mm-hmm.
to do again.
You son of a bitch.
From my camp, it was kind of a busy week. However, I went back and revisited, speaking of free stuff, I went back and revisited the Oat Studios library.
Oh God, I fucking love Oats.
I banged through all that stuff like, in an afternoon while I
Yeah.
was just
Yeah, you did.
punching on a key. That was the other monitor. No, while I was working away, I was able to watch that, and those just fucking incredible stuff, man. I mean,
I know.
it looks great, and I guess the older I get, I mean, I thought this was like young people, but I'm starting to like blame myself for this now. My attention span just sucks nowadays. So those like quick 10-minute, 15-minute things for me are fantastic, and that like caliber of quality too that Oat Studios puts out. It's like really what I'm like digging hard on.
And not just in production value quality, just straight up really clever concepts
yeah.
and really interesting storytelling.
Yeah, so I kind of just fell into that rabbit hole. And if you haven't experienced Oat Studios, I mean, just look it up on YouTube. It's
Yeah.
there for free. You can watch everything on there, the trailers, everything along with it. It's there for you, there for the taking. It's great.
So much variety too.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, that's if there's anything I can suggest, and I think I may have suggested that in the past. So I'm sorry to be redundant, but definitely something to check out. So yeah, Oat Studios, have some fun with that. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. I guarantee you. Chris, what are you doing with your phone again?
Posting shit, y'all. It's my job.
In real time.
You just never stop working, dude. So
No, I don't.
what do we we chatted about this yesterday and today, and we came to this idea that we're gonna. I mean, and Jesse, I understand. Like before we were going on here, you were kind of like, "What the hell are we gonna? What's the
Yeah.
deal here?" And yeah, it's kind of ambiguous. However, and I'm gonna play total devil's advocate the whole night here. I think probably I'm gonna be taking shit for it too. But we want to kind of talk about, like, take a different route this week and talk about kind of where we're at, the state of movies and like media, like just
And how we're watching movies.
How people are digesting this shit now.
And how
Yeah.
things have changed and the different services and all this different stuff that's out there.
And
It's
what the
kind
future
of
might look like.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like we talked about the Luc Besson thing earlier.
Yeah.
That's kind of changing.
Yeah.
I mean, the way we're watching movies. You have this huge director whose last movie was a total flop, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
This guy has made dozens upon dozens of movies and
Yeah.
films and projects, and now it's going to Netflix.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. Well,
It-
go ahead. I'm sorry. No, go ahead, Jesse.
No, I was just saying Netflix is. I think they're making very smart investments. They're going to have so much content. Well, even now they have so much content that you can't get anywhere else. And now, huge filmmakers like Luc Besson and David Fincher, and I can't think of any else right now, but
we
these
had Bright
big
just recently.
filmmakers,
David
that are
Ayer.
going to Netflix. They're almost resorting to Netflix to get their creative freedom, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that happening.
Well, the one thing that that I've heard this line from people, and I want to talk. I think Netflix is going to be a heavy weight of this conversation, which is great, right? And I've been hearing, articles here and there, just reading around and things like that. And Netflix streaming platforms, I agree, they're changing the game. And I'm hearing also along with that, like, well, the theater in a couple years, 5-10 years down the road, theaters will be a thing of the past.
I hope not.
Well, yeah, same here. And I'm hearing that. However, like the theater I like to go to, they're adding on.
Yeah.
They're adding capacity on. They're making a bigger theater. I tend to try to go like on the off days. I go to a lot of matinees because I just want the privacy. But I have went, in the evenings, and the places are packed. They're jam-packed with people. You can't move in there. So, okay, if it's a fast change, I don't know. It's kind of like, I don't see this dying anytime soon. People still want to come to the theater. They want to experience the big screen still, I think. That's kind of where my heart's still at. I mean, it still is, I think.
We just need appropriate theater movies, I think. Like when Quentin Tarantino did his 70mm tour and everything like that. I would go to the theater for something like that. But, like I said in an example, like Jumanji, I don't need to go to see that in the theater, or like a comedy. I want to sit at home and laugh like an idiot in my living room, so
I think
I'd rather sit at home.
The listeners might need a sort of like hook here, like where, in other words, this is what this is the question, or a series of questions I proposed to a few people outside of the Movie Sleuth. I asked, would you, if theoretically speaking, Star Wars Last Jedi comes out, would you love to see that on Netflix if it was first day? Would you watch that on Netflix, or would you go to a theater to see it? And I got an interesting mix of reactions. Generally speaking, they're like, oh yeah, I'm going to go see Star Wars at, wherever. And then I would ask other people who had like nicer stuff or whatever, and they'd say I'd sit at home, or I don't know. But I got I got a big mix of answers.
Well, I mean, if you have a $10,000, $20,000 home entertainment system, you're going to want to get as much mileage out of it as you can. So I can understand somebody saying, yeah, I mean, if it come out first day on streaming services, I'd be there, right? However, I mean, to me, like a film like Star Wars, anything Star Wars, right? That's just something, and I mean, I think I've said that, I've kind of gotten into this nice cycle the last 3 films that we've seen come out, right? Where I've always been kind of on vacation, so I've like, okay, I'm going to get the early matinee, get a coffee, get there at like 9 a.m., and it's just like old man kind of cool thing I do, right? But I love it.
You're fucking old.
Because I'm old. But I mean, I do love, I mean, the point is I want to see it in the theater. I want to see it on the big screen. I want the booming. I want all that, I want that all around me.
Here's the other thing though. There are a lot of people, dude, Amazon saw massive sales influx with the Fire Sticks for Kodi. You could theoretically see Star Wars for free.
Yeah.
At some point, I don't know probably when, but
yeah, at some point, yes.
Yeah, but it's getting easier and easier to see things like that, and cheaper to do it. And I think fewer and fewer people, I mean, clearly fewer people are going to see movies, but more people are seeing event films.
Yeah.
And I think what's going to happen is we're going to see this sort of extreme like pole situation where like something like Netflix is on the South Pole and your cinemas are on the North Pole. We're going to have this extreme, like huge blockbusters only releasing in the theater.
Yeah.
Like stuff that you'd really want to see in the theater.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And then
man.
everything else is going to go to Netflix because nobody's going to go to the theater to see 3 Billboards. Like something like 3 Billboards, if that came out on Netflix, you know what I mean? Versus Star Wars.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. That's kind of where I see it going.
Well, like a prime example is Call Me by Your Name.
Yeah.
Like it's a great movie, but it's already available on all like the piracy sites and stuff, and you can watch the movie streaming. From what I understand, and like I actually saw a couple reports today saying this movie is failing at the box office because it's available on so many other platforms already.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but how
You
is
just
it doing on those platforms?
I'm not sure. I didn't dig that deep into it.
Say is someone calculating those numbers
But
up?
and that's a good example too. Is like nobody knows about that movie. Not general people.
No,
like
they
if
don't.
I were to ask 100 people that walked into a Best Buy if they ever heard of that movie, probably 99 of them didn't.
Right.
Maybe all of them. Like nobody's talking about it, nobody hears about it, so how does it make its money? And you release it in a theater and still like,
it's, like,
where's the
limited
marketing for it
release,
to get
too.
people in a theater?
Right, like I didn't even know about it until
But-
everybody's talking
But
about
shit,
it.
dude, if Call Me by Your Name was on Netflix, I would have watched it
Yeah.
already.
Yeah,
So fast.
for real.
Scott.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's a matter. It really, like, going on your point, Jesse. It really is a matter of scale. I think.
Yeah.
I think there's just films that are going to have that grind behind them, that drive behind them, that will take people to the theater. They'll go there to see that, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think a film like, I mean, it's obvious. Like anything, a Star Wars film. I mean, that's a nostalgia thing too, I guess.
Yeah.
But that we saw them in the theater. I think they're designed for the theater. They're also designed for home too. But I mean, just that it's like a rock concert. Just seeing a rock concert. It's big and it's massive and it's live and there's just all this stuff happening around you. But I think smaller scale films, they do just kind of cater more towards the way things are going now. I think towards the streaming platforms. And I think there's going to have to be some real serious retooling, like you were saying, Heather. Of the numbers, because it's failing here, but wait a minute, there's other places you can watch this film at. Are we capturing this data? Because this film may appear to be a failure from the
Right.
box office standards, but there's a million other places that you can watch it now, right?
That's what I'm saying. We need appropriate theater movies. Like Call Me by Your Name isn't theater appropriate.
Well, it could be depending on who you are and what your preference is.
I mean, like something like we have the Main Art Theater here, or like the Maple.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would go see Call Me by Your Name at one of those theaters. I wouldn't go to Stargrash or AMC or whatever. It's still Stargrash to me. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we only have one made art.
Right.
We're everybody sitting here generally. I'd say we're pretty big movie buffs, so we're not really the best example of the kind of people
of the general population.
Yeah.
Because we see a lot of movies, obviously.
Too many.
We don't have a problem spending that money, and then of course there's the Movie Pass too.
Oh, Jesus.
Which is incredible, but how many people know about the Movie Pass?
I think it's spread like wildfire this year. When they introduced the $9.99 thing, a lot of people signed up. I can't remember, but it was like hundreds of thousands of people signed up for it. The problem was they couldn't get the cards out to people fast enough, so people had to find theaters that were taking the e-ticketing system before you got your card. The problem is that with the Movie Pass, as great as it is, I think it's confusing to a lot of people the way that it works, because like today I was getting a message from one of my friends like, hey, MJR Troy only takes the e-ticket, but they're not accepting the card anymore. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, you should be able to use your card everywhere, because that's the primary source for paying for your movies when you have the membership. But like MJR Troy, for some reason, doesn't understand how to use the card, or they're not taking the card anymore. That is too confusing for the general public, because most people are just gonna be like, fine, fuck it, I can't use it, I'm gonna cancel it then.
Yeah.
But $9.99 a month is what they introduced it at. That's when I signed back up for it. I used to pay $35 a month for it, and it was a great value. But $9.99 a month to see as many movies as I want a month, holy shit! There are a couple times I saw like 8 or 9 movies in a month for $10. But they adapted the pricing again now. Now it's $100.
Oh my God!
But you pay the $100 once, and that's good for a year. And then after 12 months, it goes to $9.99 a month. So basically, they just want to get you locked in for that first year.
Yeah.
Which I think was them just adapting the model to probably meet the demands of the theater chains, saying, hey, we're losing money on this. So a lot of people are going to sign up. They're going to pay the $100, and then they're not going to ever use that card. And I think that's part of what they're kind of hoping for with it, is that people will pay for memberships and not really use it.
They'll just forget.
Yeah, they'll forget, or they just won't, oh, that's a great deal. And then they just don't ever go to the movie.
Dad, I shell out a clam. I'm not going to forget about it, dude.
Yeah, for
Tell you
real.
right now, I'll be using the hell out of that thing.
But
Well, go ahead. Justin.
it's a really cool service, and it is one way that they're trying to adapt. I'm just not sure in the long run if it's going to, stick around, because there's already like some AMC theaters are not accepting it anymore. And then MoviePass took some theaters out that, they're too expensive, because basically every time you swipe the card, it tries to deduct, I think it's like $12. It'll deduct up to $12 off the card. So basically you register on your phone, and then it loads the money to your card. And then when you go up and pay, you hand them the card and they swipe it like a credit card. So
Oh, okay.
I'm confused.
And it's only for one ticket, or if it's
one
for,
ticket.
Oh.
But if you buy 2 tickets, it will take the total $12 off of the purchase of 2 tickets.
Okay.
Which is really cool.
Huh.
In an AMC, I probably shouldn't put this out there, but at AMC I found out that they don't officially recognize the MoviePass system. They recognize it as a credit card. So it will load that $10 or $12 on your card, and if you want to go see a movie like Dolby Cinema that's $16, it'll take the first 10 or 12 off, and then you can just pay the balance.
Huh.
Which is really cool.
That's really cool,
Yeah.
actually. I mean, that makes sense, but whatever.
I've used it for that a couple times.
I'm confused.
Oh, see?
So do you really see MoviePass being competitive with Netflix, or I don't know what? Like how does it survive?
I'm not really sure at this point how it survives, because they have to keep putting movies in the theaters that people actually want
Want to go see.
go out to see.
Yeah.
And then when we're talking about all these big directors starting to direct for Netflix or Amazon, stuff like
Right.
that, you're still going to have a lot of people that want to stay at home for fear of being shot at the movies,
Right.
being, killed at the movies, being raped at the movies, or just having to look at other people's cell phones in the
Oh,
movies.
God. I
Or
so
listening
hate
to other
it.
people,
Or,
or
yeah.
smelling other people.
Jeez, man.
Well,
Could you just shut the fuck up?
Thank you.
I mean, along with those negatives, it's very difficult just to compete with the fact. I mean, and I'll say this for any movie, because I know there's going to be a demographic who's like this too. It's going to be almost impossible to compete with the fact that I don't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I come home,
and you can
And it's
pause
less
it.
expensive.
yeah, I can watch at my leisure. I can do whatever I want.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have all the flexibility in the world, right? How do you compete with that? And yeah, there are all this laundry list of things you guys just mentioned too. And that's for the people that aren't sensitive like I am. I mean, I'm ultra fucking sensitive, and I'm just a cranky old man. So if somebody sneezes the wrong way, I'm on them, like eyes, like stop.
Yeah,
cut
I
the
laugh
shit.
really loud and kind of stupid. Like, I've been made fun of for laughing
You
at a
don't
theater.
say.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's embarrassing, like when someone's making fun of you at a theater like that for, just being happy, and it's like,
But that's
geez,
obviously an extreme situation.
We're not happy
Well-
though.
Clearly.
We're not happy.
No, I mean, it's happened more than once, like that's
Well, maybe you
just
should
not,
get that checked.
I'm not changing my laugh for nobody.
There was a
Not
lady.
even you.
There was a lady last week when we saw The Shape of Water in the theater.
Yeah.
Speaking of laughs, and
Was
this
she
is-
making love to a mutant fish man?
Yeah. It
On
was
the
happening.
floor?
Yeah, he was riding. She was riding him right there in the seat. I was
Sweet.
like, looked around, like, holy shit, there's fins. No, this isn't
fucker.
anything. This isn't beating on you at all, Heather. But there was a lady that, like, 2 rows behind us, where, that movie's got some little bit of comedy kind of interlaced. Not too much. It's kind of a heavy flick. But this lady would do a laugh where she'd just be like, ha 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 ha, and she just, there was like no decay on the laugh whatsoever. It just kept fucking going, man. And I'm turning around going, what the? It was funny, but is
Yeah.
that hard?
I mean, like, I went and saw Cop Out, right? Cop Out with
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan and Bruce Willis,
Oh,
and I
Jesus.
was cracking up the whole time, and I got made fun of so bad by these little 2 jerks, like, just I was like, I'm like probably 10 years older than you. You might want to watch yourself.
Because she can beat your ass.
Yeah.
She's
I'm
really
small,
tough.
but I'm Hispanic, so and I'm Irish, so I got the fisticuffs.
But that point being is, there is that. It's, okay, fine, the shooting thing. Yeah, that was something. I thought about that just like last week when I was at the theater. I happened to just have that pop through my brain, like, yeah, there were some shootings not too long ago.
Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing here?
I know, it's so weird.
But I like the theater.
No, I do too.
don't know
I
what
just
to
think
say.
I think it's really important what Netflix and Amazon and Hulu are doing, just because of what you just mentioned, the really weird, strange occurrences that can happen. And not saying that we're gonna become super sheltered or anything like that. People are still going to go to the movies, but I think it's important what they're doing because it allows us to have a little more range in what we're watching.
Yeah.
Like I have Amazon and I have Hulu and Michelle's Hulu actually, but
Shh! Don't tell anybody.
yeah. But I mean, that's awesome. Like I watch all three of them for different reasons. Hulu has mostly TV, which is awesome. If I miss an episode of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, what up? Then I go to Hulu, because I'm at school or something.
Yeah.
Or because basketball's on, so. Yeah.
Well, here is, again, the negative side to that, though, too. And I just had a conversation with a couple guys at work about this 2 days ago, or a day ago. Today's Tuesday, right? This was yesterday. Just yesterday we had this conversation. And we were talking about Amazon and Netflix and Hulu. And we all said, okay, well, we have all this. And we all said it was eerie. We all said the same thing. We're like, we have all these fucking choices, but I end up staring at the menus.
Oh, yeah, forever
Yeah.
For an
until
hour.
you choose something.
Please.
I
Dude, I could watch anything at any point if she wasn't around.
Yeah.
Because I have
I'm
to.
pretty
I'm like, I could watch
choosy.
this. I could watch that. I
Yeah.
could watch this. It's just like going out to eat. It's the same thing.
Well, no, and that's
But-
and that's a great attitude to have with that. I wish I possessed that because my thought process, unfortunately, is this: okay, I want to watch something. However, I don't have a lot of time to. This isn't saying you're not
Yeah.
a busy person, but this is just my mental thing. Like
Yeah.
I'm fucking busy all the time. And if I'm going to dedicate 90 minutes to 120 minutes to something, I better fucking like it. So now I'm just trying to find a way to front load by, okay, I'm definitely going to like that.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. It's like, well, what
You
if
just have to get over the fear of like.
Yeah.
You just all it is you start watching it. If it sucks,
Just stop
fuck
it.
that movie.
Go
See,
back. Yeah, and
that's the problem, though.
That's the beautiful thing about
Yeah.
it.
And that's what's so
having all the
great. If you get
choices.
up and leave a theater, you just wasted $10.
Yeah.
You know.
But it's
So-
not like that with Netflix. Or
See, my
Hulu
problem
or
is just I'm a
Amazon.
total completist, so I'm like, okay, I started
Yeah.
this adventure. I'm going to see this thing through to the end. I've always done that with any movie, no matter how shitty it was. I'm
Yeah.
going to see it through to the end. And I've even went back and watched a movie I didn't like again, just to say, okay, why did I don't like this. I better understand it, right? And I've done that, which is a total. Speaking of wasting time, geez,
You're totally fucked up,
Hey, I'm
dude.
totally screwed. I'm messed up. I told you, I got problems, man. So yeah, that's one of the. I don't know if it's a generational. I don't know. I just don't know. But we all said this. The three dudes said that we're like, we got all these choices.
Yeah.
We got all this great stuff in front of us, but I'm overwhelmed.
Well,
Overwhelmed.
the other thing too is I'm pretty geeky with this stuff, so like I know what I'm looking for, and
Yeah.
I know what movies, like I know what I've heard of, and
Yeah.
and like it just depends on how into it you are, really.
And the cool thing is Netflix does that whole, if you go on their website online, you can sift through a bunch of genres and actors and things like that, and it'll cater to your choices.
Yeah.
So it'll show you what you actually selected
It's
that
like
you'd like to watch.
Easier to do it that way than to like scroll right
Yeah.
through the Netflix.
Yeah, for real. I did that when, a while back, and now just, it's awesome.
And I have done that exact same process, and it does help. It's helped me kind of hone in on like, yeah, that's what I want to watch.
Yeah.
I'll see that. And I've never been disappointed, to be honest with you. I've always enjoyed everything I've watched on there. But But I think that's one issue, one bad side, at least for some people. 'Cause I know I'm not the only one where it's like, God, I'm fucking overwhelmed here.
No. I agree with you totally.
No,
I mean, a lot of people
there's
have
a lot
said
of
that,
stuff,
so I'm
yeah.
not saying that's not a true
No,
thing.
yeah. Well, and just the Netflix, I mean, on Netflix, the content that they put out alone, it's numbing now. There's just so much stuff between
Yeah.
movies and series. It's
$35
insane.
billion they borrowed to basically produce
I think-
as much content as they possibly can in the next couple of years.
Well, didn't they buy a? Oh no, that Disney thing fell through, right?
I think so.
Yeah, Disney's putting out their own
Billions of
streaming
dollars.
service.
They separated off a while ago, I thought.
Yeah. That
Oh
kinda
yeah,
sucks.
Disney's gone.
Yeah.
Like they're not on Netflix anymore, I don't think. I
No,
think-
there's some Disney movies
Is
on
there?
Netflix.
there are
Yeah,
some
for
still
sure.
there.
But yeah, as soon as the Disney streaming service starts, there will be no Disney stuff on Netflix whatsoever.
I'll buy the Disney streaming service.
I won't.
Yeah, I
Oh,
won't.
I will.
I
Well,
don't
I will.
care about
As
Disney.
long as it's the same price as Netflix.
I
then
really
I'm
don't
okay.
like this whole sort of like elite status that Disney thinks they are. It's
Yeah,
like, bitch, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, you're good and everything, but chill a little bit here.
I would say lately they're not good. Their old
Fucking
stuff is fantastic, but
Well, that does lead to this other thing. I mean, and I think it may be this elitist type thing you're talking about, Jesse. You know, just a couple of years ago, it was very simple. Yeah, there was Netflix. There was, I mean, Amazon was starting up, kind of, I guess. You had Hulu. You only had a handful of these streaming services.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now we're getting this fragmentation now, where it's by genre, by company, Disney, for example.
Yeah, that's God.
This is going to get painful
Yeah,
after a
it's so
while.
stupid.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's a terrible idea that they're doing it, but I don't know. See, Netflix is a giant. Netflix is going to swallow everybody up, or there's going to be a really strange. There's going to be really. They're going to probably be forced into trying really weird tiers of pricing and stuff to get like. How can you compete with Netflix? For real.
Yeah.
You
They
really
have so
can't.
much
No,
fucking
I
money.
mean,
and yeah, they're way too big. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because I love Netflix, but how are Hulu and Amazon going to survive against them?
Well, I think Amazon is such a big company without their streaming services
Right.
that
Yeah,
they'll come
They can
out.
keep infusing cash into it,
Yeah.
no matter
Yeah.
whether if they're hemorrhaging cash.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Now
And-
Hulu, they make a lot of money off of ad revenue still, so they might survive also. But it is these weird little fragmentation ones, like Shudder, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or Crackle and
Crackle, and like
Sling
Vimeo
TV,
has
yeah.
paid subscriptions now, and then there's other horror ones. I had that one for a while that was exploitation.tv,
Yeah.
and it was like hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of exploitation movies from
Yeah.
the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Like, yeah, I can understand that some people want to watch that, but like I had the exploitation one for like 2 or 3 months, and then finally it was like, dude, how
much of this can you watch?
how
Yeah.
much of this can I watch? And I think that's going to be part of the problem, is that when they do start to fragment off like that, nobody's going to be able to survive, because everybody is going to be like, oh, I've already seen a lot of titties this month on the exploitation website.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't need titties again this month.
there's
Right?
always room for
Are you
titties.
sick?
I wonder
Are
if
you sick?
I wonder if in the future they'll come up with some kind of weird. I don't know, something where they would organize them all together under one umbrella, sort of software or something.
Possibly.
I don't know.
Well, that's the big. I mean, with the Shudder thing, for example, you mentioned Shudder. As of right now, I mean, I don't know of any, like, when we say that. I mean, we're using that term fragmented, like these smaller platforms.
Yeah.
They have one of the most aggressive marketing campaigns I've seen. Everywhere I turn, there's a fucking banner for Shudder, or there's some type of preview for Shudder or something like that.
Yeah.
And they always suck me in because they got some really cool little, hey, you want to get scared? Well, yeah, I want to get scared. And then it's like, well, then
Right.
watch Shudder. Fuck you. I don't want to pay any more money for shit. You know, I
Yeah.
mean, so it's just one. I mean, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what their plan is. It's obvious they're trying to like get everybody involved, but they're aggressive for that platform, for that genre.
Oh, yeah.
Right. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, I just don't want to have a future where, and yeah, Netflix is huge. They're complete. They're massive. It's this huge umbrella over everything. I I don't want to see a future though where you're going to have. I mean, let's just take how many genres you have under the Netflix umbrella. When you go on there, it's like 30 different genres. I don't want to see
more.
30. The documentary platform. Hey, it's all documentaries now. You can watch
I
any
think
documentary.
there actually is already a documentary streaming service.
Is there?
I can't remember what the name of it is.
Yeah,
but
there
there
is. There totally is. I don't
Yeah.
remember the name of it either, but I did see it and I was like, what? I'll just watch.
Docflix. I don't.
Yeah, I'll
fucking
just
know.
go to
and the thing-
Netflix.
And you know what I think about that though too is, like, here, let's take an example, like a genre like gangster films, right? I'm a junkie for gangster films, right? There's about maybe I would say 5 to 10 amazing ones, the iconic ones, the Goodfellas and the Godfathers and shit like that, right? That are in that in that echelon, and then there's a million shitty ones.
Yeah.
So, okay, just put that perspective for a second. You've seen the best of the best. They'll never go away. You can watch them as much as you want, right? So, well, I like gangster films, so I'm going to get the gangster channel. I'm going to watch the gangster platform or whatever you want to call it. Gangster TV. I don't know what the fuck, whatever.
Gangster.fuck.
And I mean, I've been through this before. You never get that back. You see a film like Goodfellas, for example, and it totally sucks you into that genre of movie, and then you find yourself craving that beautiful taste of Goodfellas you got when you first saw it, and you never get that. That's just me, at least.
I don't think people are gonna. Well, then again, I was gonna say I don't think people are that dumb, but
I am.
maybe they are. To go and buy something so specific like that, like I don't know. That's the beauty of
You got
Netflix.
plenty of people paying for these horror ones.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
There
I don't know.
are.
I think horror is
tons.
kind of a different. It's a whole different ball game, though.
It's a little bit more broad, I think,
speaking of
than the
elitists,
gangster.
that's
yeah.
Much
Yeah,
wider genre
Yeah.
that could even swallow up some gangster movies or vice versa. you
Yeah,
know?
Right.
yeah. But that's just kind of like my take on that. Like, I mean, and maybe the gangster film, maybe it's a bad example. I don't know. But it just seems like
No,
you
it's a
have.
good example.
No, I think what your point is that how much of one thing can you really take? But
Yeah.
and like what Chris was saying is like you have it for 2 months and then you're like, how much more of this am I going to really watch?
Right.
Well, what I think though too is just like I said, if you see a film that an iconic, like I said, like something like Goodfellas, we've all seen that. You're going to be, I guess, what the gambler's term would be, chasing it. You're chasing that high.
Yeah.
Really, I mean, I've done this, so I know. You're chasing that high, trying to find something as good as that, and artistically, I guess, or just taking this stuff in, you may get bummed out. And then you're like, well, I spent all this friggin' money on this thing,
You're
and all
right.
these movies
No,
suck
you're right.
shit.
That is
and
a
this
good
sucks. I don't like anything on here. It's just a bunch. It's these really great films up here, and then there's just a whole bunch of bullshit. And believe me, I have box set upon box. And that's probably why I'm using this as an example, because I have box set upon box set at home, mob movies, gangster films, like those generic bullshit things you can get for like $5 for like 50 movies, right? And I'm like, well, they're mob movies. Dude, they suck. They're so bad. But and I'm bummed out because I try to like really dive into a genre. And I mean, with the streaming thing, it's the same thing. I think you could probably get yourself into that.
Yeah, but most streaming services are free for the first month.
Some. I mean,
I
like,
would
what
say-
about a streaming service for musicals? Like, who would buy that?
Well,
that
I love
hurts.
musicals. I might do
I
something
do
like
too,
that.
but that would be one that you would like watch for like a month or two and be like, oh,
Like,
I
I'm
had
like-
enough musicals now.
Wouldn't you have enough? I don't know. I think I would have enough of musicals after the first day or two.
Yeah, me too.
Like,
I
I
like
got-
some.
Could you really watch a musical marathon? How many people could really do that? Like watch 2 or 3 musicals in a row? Yeah.
I've done it.
One really tiny Puerto Rican. over here in the corner.
I like doing the cha-cha while I'm watching
yeah.
musicals.
But that's just kind of like when you start getting into the nuts and bolts of this, though. I don't like that idea of the whole fragmentation that we're
I
starting
don't
to
like
see
that.
now.
Then again, Netflix and Amazon and Hulu, since they're the biggest, it's like the big three. You know, maybe they'll come up with something better.
Well, that fragmentation is just a sign of the trends. That's all that is.
Sure.
It's
Well, yeah.
it's going to boil down to like a big 5, and Netflix will probably be the top of all of those.
Yeah.
Probably for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine another one coming out that would be just as big unless like Amazon or Hulu really come up with something spectacular that changes the game in a big way. But it seems like Netflix is really ahead of that right now.
Amazon has the ability to add Showtime and HBO and stuff like that now.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, really?
new.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
you can get
newer,
those channels added.
which is awesome
Oh, that's cool.
because
Is that
yeah.
more? Well, you have to pay more money.
Oh, of course.
It's
yeah.
like I think it's honestly I don't think it's that much more.
It's like $4.99 a month to like add HBO,
To add
$4.99 a month to add
yeah.
Showtime. Like it's way cheaper than if you pay for those premium channels through
Cable.
your
Through
cable provider.
Yeah.
Which is good. It means that these cable channels are finally waking up and saying, you know what? Everybody's cutting the cord.
Let's go with
Let's adapt to the
absolutely.
times, you know?
Yeah.
They're big money makers like HBO and stuff, so
That makes me think, yeah, and that's such a perspective that puts that in, because just 10 years ago, I wanted to add HBO to my cable plan, and it would have been another $90, they said.
Yeah.
Just so I could finish the damn Sopranos, right? They're like, yeah, it's another $91 exactly, they said. I'm like,
Ugh.
for
No.
another station
That's
Just one.
insane.
on my dirt poor shithead cable that I already have.
Right,
well, it's
right.
because you're not just adding
Yeah, I'm
HBO,
not-
you're
yeah.
adding like 15 other channels.
Yeah,
I
because you
paid
had to get a
HBO.
package or whatnot.
Yeah.
I didn't get that far into it when I heard the word $91 a month.
You
I
were like,
said,
Netflix.
fuck that.
You
I'll
know,
do without.
one thing we really haven't discussed, and I definitely want to touch on this, is that these streaming services, though, they're huge for major movies and these major directors moving that direction. But with like a lot of the movies that we review and a lot of the stuff that we're given, it's independent filmmakers. Like last week, I reviewed that Adrenochrome movie.
Yeah.
Which this guy really had no funding for his movie, made it on no budget. It was a cool little flick. We talked about it a little bit. And it's streaming on Amazon Prime, and you have to pay like $5 to rent it. It's really, these platforms are not just opening up doors for major directors to get their stuff out there.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of amateur people now are able to actually get a platform for their movies or their TV shows
That's
and
actually
stuff
really
like
neat.
that.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing's flattening out now. It's going horizontal, and that's really cool because there is that accessibility with this model they have, and that is really cool. Just from a person, I mean, I just would think about it from the director's standpoint, or somebody who's making a small independent film like that. Like, I'm on a platform with all the big wigs. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just a great
Yeah.
feeling alone. I mean, just as somebody who wants to create art, I think it's really cool. So yeah, I mean, yeah, possibly you can make a few dollars out of that too. You might actually see some money for.
Yeah, actually, you might actually get
Oh my
some
God,
money.
you might get paid.
Yeah.
for your hours of work that you did and your blood and your sweat that you put into this thing. So that it really is. It's just a cool thing to see. I mean, and we've been seeing this trend with all types of art for the last 15 years, where everything is just kind of flattening out. I noticed that artists, or even like promotions type people, they're way more accessible than they were 15 years ago. You couldn't touch people 15 years ago. Now you can actually, people, they have to respond.
Yeah.
They do. It's like, well, I'm accessible. I have to answer this email or this Facebook message. So that example along with that, yeah, that's just that whole thing of this flattening things out and giving everybody access like
Yeah,
that.
that's cool though. That's
think it's
super
neat.
cool. And it's, like I said, it's important,
No, it's very important. One thing I want to throw in here too, Chris, that we haven't even mentioned either is, and I've said this before, I still enjoy it, is going to the video store.
Oh.
Dun, dun,
Wah,
dun.
wah, wah.
I know. I said I was going to be doing the get off my lawn thing here, and I'm in full swing now. I still enjoy walking around a store and looking for a movie.
That's because you're old.
Yes. But it's fun. It's relaxing.
No, I really do like it too.
I got a kick out of it. It's great. I go down to the place down the street from me, once a week, once every 2 weeks sometimes. It's not an everyday thing it used to be. Oh my God. But I still like to go in there and just walk around. And from what I've been told, like FV. I've talked to some people there, and I'm like, I've said like, hey, how's everything?
Right.
Still gonna have a job next week? What's up?
Yeah.
And they're like, actually, we're doing great. And I mean, you go in there and there's people walking around looking for movies. So I think there's still a demographic there of people who just like to go out and physically find something and touch it and bring it home.
I think like Family Video still has a good.
FV.
They still have a good business model. They buy a
Lots of
large
games.
quantity of movies in, but they're not like before, dude. When we were kids and a video store bought a movie, it'd be like $100, for a videotape. And then even when DVDs came out, they were really expensive. Now, a place like Family Video can buy a Blu-ray for less than it sells for retail. And they'll buy like 100 copies of it. And you'll go in there on a Friday or Saturday night, and like the new releases will all be gone. Everything will be checked out. Everything's rented out.
Yeah.
But what Family Video does is really smart. They rent them for about 4 to 5 weeks.
I've talked to them about this too.
Yeah, they rent them for 4 to 5 weeks, and then they sell them. And they sell them. They start them out at like $12.99.
And they just keep going down.
And they keep going down until they get into the $1.99 bin. But most people like me that like to collect will catch them on that like 3 for $21 sale. And they're still making a profit off those movies when you buy them for 3 for $21 because they paid such a disgustingly low price to
Plus,
buy that
they've been
quantity.
rented so many times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, and the people at FV will actually do this for you too. I've said, hey, I know you're still renting these, but you got an idea when they're actually going to stop going out? They're going to come out of the rotation and go on sale. It's like, oh yeah, well, approximately they should with a calendar. Like approximately this time, this is kind of what we have laid out. Hey, give me your number. I'll put it here on the calendar, and I'll give you a call. If you want to buy a copy, I'll let you know.
Dope.
And, dude, no bullshit. I mean, some random phone call that I ignore, and I check my voicemail. I was like, oh, yeah, this is Mitch from FV, man. Just calling you about that movie. You still want to pick it up? Just give me a call back. I'm like, fuck out of here. What? What? This is great. And I went down and picked it up. That was really cool, So
You totally forget about it, and then it's like, woo.
yeah, if you want a physical copy of something, like I like having a copy. And that's just my point, too, is I still like having copies of movies. It's fun. I know you like having copies of movies, Chris. It's pretty
There's
obvious.
still a lot of people that buy a lot of Blu-rays, man.
Oh, yeah.
We see them all the time in Best Buy, fucking buying stacks of movies, like handfuls of movies people buying.
Yeah, I just was at I went and...
They're so cheap now.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Like $5-6 a piece now.
here's
Yeah.
a good example. We saw Cell Block. That was on Amazon. It wasn't released in the theater, was it? No, but
No.
so guess what? Because Amazon had it, I'm gonna go buy that movie now.
Yeah.
So like, it's like the easier that we get a chance to see the streaming services, the movies there, we can go right out and try and find it and buy it. And how much do you want to bet that people saw that movie on Amazon Prime and then went directly to Amazon.com to buy it from Amazon?
Oh, yeah. I watched it streaming, Bone Tomahawk. I watched that streaming, and damn well I was out buying that movie the next
Right.
week.
I got that from
That's
FV.
so cool, though.
Yeah.
I mean, just to think that
$3.
how easy it is for us to just
$2.99.
watch a movie that we're like, oh yeah, I'll try this out, and then we really like it, so we go buy the actual copy of it.
Yeah.
The tangible art cover stuff that I can
it's fun
actually
to
hold
look
in my
at.
hand, you're just never going to take that away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
But,
know?
again, we're all movie buffs, though.
That's
So
true.
many people don't give a shit. They
Yeah,
don't
but
care.
I mean,
No,
I think
you're right.
I think it's more likely that someone is definitely going to go buy a movie if they see it on a streaming service than
well,
if they
that's
went
true.
to the theater.
That's definitely true. But yeah, people really don't care.
No,
I
I
agree.
think you're right.
I
if
mean,
they can see it for free, they will see
yeah,
that
it's
shit
not
for
it's
free
not quality, it's
in
quantity.
480p before they spend $20 and go to the show. So people buy these Fire Sticks, streaming stuff in the worst quality possible before they start buying stuff on discs. It happens all the time. More people buy Fire Sticks than they...
Oh, dude, those things are so popular now.
I know. People walk out with 3 or 4 of them at a time.
we have one. And I will say I'm really impressed. I'm just used, like I said, I'm just I get something and I'll use it for 400 years before. I just don't care. I'll just keep using the
Yeah.
same thing, right? And Amber brought a Fire Stick in, and I'm using my old Blu-ray on my Wi-Fi, and I'd have to load a movie on Netflix, and it would take like 20 seconds for it to load, which is an eternity. It's a fucking eternity.
Did she put the Fire Stick in your butt?
Yeah, she did. That's how we make it work. It's whatever. I got a port in my ass, a USB port. But no,
Gross.
the Fire Stick is very quick. It's very responsive. It's. And I know I do sound like an old fogey now, but I was really blown away by the quality and how fast it does move. But you just mentioned another thing, Jesse, that's really interesting to me too. And this has been an artifact for the last 20 years when it comes to especially music and movies, is the quality thing.
Yeah.
There's always going to be, especially with the audiophile people, man. Oh boy, and you know this too, Chris. Like, oh, there's only one way to listen to music. And you have to have 12 hours of speakers everywhere, and I mean, whatever it might be. And the same thing goes for films. I mean, Chris, you obviously have a setup. I know other people that are the same way. They're like, well, it has to be this, and I'm not going to pretend like I know all the math. That's your department, Jesse. But there are people that just say it has to be top quality or I don't watch it. And I know this philosophy, and I won't pretend like I haven't embraced it to a certain degree too, where, well, I can see it. I'm watching the characters do things.
Yeah.
I'm getting the story. I hear the sounds, and I understand what happens at the end of the film. I'm not going to worry too much about it.
Yeah, but
yeah.
See, like for me, the quality does have to be there. And I think a lot of this, what you're talking about, also lends itself to the piracy issue, which all this digital stuff is really like calling into question a lot of the piracy because as things go more digital, we're getting more and more stuff put out on the torrent sites like super early. Like, there's people I know that literally wait for Oscar season because they're like, oh, I'm just going to steal all the movies off the torrent sites. Yeah. And you know what? Half of them look like dung.
Yeah, they do.
They look like poo and the audio sucks,
They look like
There's a
food.
telescene thing where it's actually like, a camera set up in front of the screen.
Yeah.
And they take an audio feed from out of the actual audio.
Yeah, like the board or whatever.
Yeah, and they're terrible. They're terrible.
Yeah.
But I think that, that is another problem we're seeing. And like when I do these interviews with these indie directors and stuff, I talk to them a lot about this. And they always say the piracy is the biggest issue they worry about, is their stuff getting leaked out before it can hit Netflix or Amazon or Hulu or any of those, because it's literally taking money out of their pockets.
Yeah. That's the biggest problem with that.
Yeah.
But that is the lowering of the standard, though, that I'm
totally.
talking about. There was an article I read, it was 10 years ago, on MP3, related but not related. MP3.
Totally related.
MP3. And they actually did an experiment with younger kids, and they would play them a song full audio quality, full, off a CD, off of a record, the actual audio file you're listening to, right? This is what it sounded like in the studio when it was recorded, right? They play that version, and then they would play the MP3 version, like a 320K MP3, right? Which is pretty good quality.
Yeah.
But still, a lot of fidelity is gone. I mean, you're compressing
Massive
the shit out of it,
fidelity,
right?
Yeah.
And they found that the people, the subjects listened to it, they opted towards the MP3. They actually preferred that sound. I think it's because that's what they're used to. They don't know any better.
Because they're stupid.
Well, no,
I
it's
was just
just
gonna
that's
say,
what they were
'cause they're
raised
dumb
on.
little
No,
brats.
that's
Dumb
what.
little bitches.
Yeah.
What was that, Jesse?
Right. Exactly what you're used to.
Yeah, they were just, that's what they were, and it's the same thing, exact thing, goes with movies. Sorry. It's the same thing. There's a standard, the standard has been lowered, I think. I'm not saying let's fucking revolt and go nuts, but it's a fact. It's out there. I think that there has been the bar has been lowered to a certain degree. And yeah, with what you're talking about exactly, yeah, with BitTorrent and types of, just piracy in general. think about it this way for a second, and I'm not fighting for this at all. I'm just again, devil's advocate. I'm so excited about this movie. I don't give a fuck what it looks like. I just want to know what happens. We've all been there.
Nope.
Bullshit.
Have not.
Bullshit.
Have not.
Have.
I'm not. I don't.
No, I have
I'm not
not.
a pirate. I have no. But I mean, I have gotten into that. I'm like, I really want to know what happens. I'm just so excited about this movie, right?
Yeah.
And I could just see somebody's. Well, it isn't like this is a small thing. Like piracy isn't a huge problem, right? That's the mentality I think a lot of people are in. Is like, I just want to know what the hell happens. I want to know what the story is,
Sure.
and then I think, I'm willing to bet that a lot of these people just want to. And I know I talk to people who do this. Like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I kind of sneaked in there and watched it, and then I went to the theater the day it came out, and I went and saw it in the theater. I just wanted to see the damn thing. I was excited about it.
Well,
I'm not fighting for this.
They're the minority then.
Well, I don't know. Well, so many people stream. I know. So many people they don't care about quality. I mean,
No, well, yeah.
No, I totally agree with you.
yeah,
I mean, I do, but
yeah.
I want to be clear. I'm not fighting for this idea at all.
No, we're
I'm
not.
just
no.
saying
I
this is what the
understand
deal
totally.
is.
We're not advocating, but I mean, like, look at
No.
HBO, who, they put so much money into Game of Thrones, and like every week it gets leaked on the torrent sites like that.
Yeah.
It's up within a minute of ending on HBO. Number one, I want to know how these people are ripping torrents of this show.
Right?
Basically, while it's airing,
Yeah.
they're prepping it to an AVI or an MPEG-4 file
guess.
in, some kind of
Yeah.
MPV, and they're just like loading it right up to the torrent sites. But HBO is losing millions and millions and millions of dollars because of this. And it's like it's almost twofold. Like, in a way, you kind of feel bad that they're losing all that money, but then you kind of feel like, well, they're kind of like a monopoly and they make millions and millions of dollars. But do we really want to steal money and food out of people's mouths by
torrenting
and like putting that stuff up online for other people to steal? So it's kind of, I don't know. It just,
well,
it's
people
very
are pretty shitty
problematic.
in general, so
that's true.
I think in general it's a crock because
Yeah.
I think people the mentality of that, well, I pirate because fuck those rich producer people, and they're
Yeah.
well, there's a shit ton. There's a workforce under them that are honest, hardworking people just like we are that go to work every day, on a set doing their thing, and you're jeopardizing their income also. It isn't just the big wigs that, there's that home, and there's been that mentality about this thing for years. And that's just to me, it's just a rationalization of your shitty behavior. that's what it is.
No, that is true. Yeah.
it
I mean,
really
I've
is.
pirated a lot of stuff. I don't anymore, but very rarely. But I don't really have a moral. I don't know. It's so hard to say.
It's a complicated issue.
Yeah.
It really is, and I understand that too. But when you do have people like we're talking about, literally, that are real time streaming something to a file to prep it, it's like, okay, dude, it's a little out. This is getting out of hand here.
Well, yeah, because the stuff will be up within minutes.
Yeah.
Like, literally, the show ends at 10 o'clock. It's on the Pirate Bay at 10:02, Like, it's just insane. And it's crazy to me that somebody wants to put it up there that fast for people to steal. Like, you're not getting anything out of this. You're not making any money out of this.
Right.
Why do you want to just let everybody steal it at will?
That really is just someone, especially from a technical standpoint. Look at those muscles.
I can.
That's what
so
that
why
is.
not do
that's
it?
a pissing contest.
That's
huh?
that's really what it comes to. I mean, really, it's that's a need that's being satisfied that we will never understand.
So here's one last question I'm going to ask. We've talked about streaming services. We've talked about different ways we watch movies now. We've kind of covered a lot of bases, people putting out original content to these services. Why can't they come up with some type of just general site where you can go on and, let's say you want to download season 5 of Dexter, or you want to download Game of Thrones because you want to put it on your media server. You want to be able to watch it at your own free will. You don't want to be held down by Netflix or Amazon or one of those. why can't they make a service where you pay like $10 a month, or you log in and you find the file that you want and you pay like a limited fee to download it? Like
the entire season or something?
Yeah, like I
that?
want the entire season of Dexter. Well, you're not getting the box. You're not getting the physical media. You're not getting the art. All you're getting is that digital file of the show where like, okay, we're going to charge you $1 to download that entire show. Oh my God. If somebody provided that to me, I would be absolutely ecstatic, because I've got a media server with thousands and thousands of movies on it. You know what? If I could pay a service that I could just one click grab that shit, put it on my media server, and know that I own it now, I would I would love it.
Like Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
That Blu-ray box set is like $1 billion. It would be. I would totally spend a hefty price for that entire show. Well, there's HBO Go, and it's like $9.99 a month, and you get all of HBO without having to actually have cable and all that stuff.
But that's still streaming it. That's not actually getting
the file.
Oh,
getting
sure,
the file.
sure, right.
Like, I want that file. Like, I want to be like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, I've got that whole season. I can
right.
watch it whenever I want.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with that,
That would be really cool, actually. I'm sure there is.
There is not.
Oh, God, there's gotta be.
Well, the problem with that simply is just that. Well, I could be wrong on this though too, but you get those files, and that's it. There's no more income stream coming from you.
Yeah.
And we know, look, all this stuff, everything we're talking about here is designed for people to make money.
Yeah.
I mean, so if you give where we are now as far as technology, and how we watch, all this stuff we've talked about over the last hour, it's about, how do I even phrase this? I'm trying to make some kind of sense. It's just as simple as that. If you get the file, how we are now, if you were to get those files, you have every episode of whatever, right? That's it. You don't need anything anymore as of we are right now until
another show comes out that you want.
Well, no, another show, but until another type of format comes out that we want.
Yeah.
Not the shows. Where we are right now is source digital files.
Sure.
If you get that, well, you have the keys to the castle, unless you do want to buy the physical copies.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking about just a media server, right?
I think, giving people that option of, maybe I don't want to steal anymore. Maybe I want to pay just like a limited fee to download this so that I have it for my own use, and I don't have to be on Netflix or Hulu to watch it when I want.
I think people would definitely
I think
pay
people
for that.
would get behind that for sure.
Oh, I think it's really
It would
great.
have to be more expensive than people want it to be, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For like entire shows or a bundle of movies or something like that. Yeah, I think
Like maybe like 75% of the retail cost or something.
Yeah.
Like day one, and then like 50% off 6 months later, something like that, and you can download the files.
That makes more sense. Because, when I'm hearing $1 an episode or something like that, I'm going, that's not enough money for these people. And I'm not even selling this like, what a bunch of greedy cocks. No, it ain't like that at all. I'm saying they're here to make money. And if you get that digital file, that's it. There's no more money coming from you with whatever that is.
Yeah.
But
Game of Thrones.
there wouldn't be any more money coming from me anyways, because I could just go steal it off a torrent site.
There'd be no money coming from you at all. At least with that, with your model.
That's what I'm saying.
That's great. There is some money coming, but the idea is to keep. Why do you think there's so many different formats of things? Mm-hmm. We have different, in one movie, we got the Steelbook here. We got the shape set here. We got the gelatinous set over here.
Well, Chris is
Gelatinous.
talking specifically about people who would torrent.
Okay.
Not people who would rather buy this digital copy instead of buying it in a store. And we're talking about people who would just torrent more than they would. Maybe they don't purchase anything ever.
Right.
And maybe a service like Chris is saying might inspire them to spend money.
To hop over the fence.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, and that makes perfect sense. That's great.
Yeah.
Better than nothing, I guess.
Right.
It's just
the
it's
way
an
things
idea
are.
I've thought of before, and I know I've seen some discussion on this, like on Reddit and stuff like that before, on tech boards and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why don't we make media more available to people where they can pay like a general fee to get the files they want, instead of, you know, this whole piracy thing is a real problem because, again, people are losing money. And the government is involved in this shit now, and you have people getting sued all the time. Oh yeah, you want me to pay a $25,000 fine for downloading some porno off a torrent site? You know what? I would rather just pay, like, if I really want that, I'd rather pay like $1 for it or a couple bucks for it, and know that the
sleep
copy,
well.
knowing that the copyright holder is not going to come back at me to try and sue me for this exorbitant sum of money. At least I donated something to the cause. At least I paid for that service of the double anal, quadruple oral, triple vaginal bukkake porn.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's the best kind.
I'd watch that.
I would watch it too. All day long.
What a great way to end this show.
So now I just got to
We
come
all
up with
knew
a
it was
name for
coming
my
to
great
porn. I mean,
idea.
come on.
Yeah, we always end on the same
Yeah.
downward spiral into cesspool of Chris's disgusting
Jizz
mind.
and urine and blood.
Stop.
Stop.
Interesting subject, though. I'm glad we
Yeah.
did this.
Yeah.
It's always nice to kind of dive into this, what's happening, because, you know, it isn't just, the art's always great, and the art's what it's all about, but it is kind of, you know, the world you live in and how you're digesting this stuff, too. And it does help me, at least, you know, from my standpoint, because, yeah, I'm kind of like, Dad, get off my lawn kind of thing still. I need to get better. I still like going to the video store, though, and walking around.
Dude, I like just going to Best Buy and looking at the movies
Yeah,
and seeing like, oh
same
shit,
here.
they got that for $9.99. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna watch that 5 times. I will pay $9.99 for it.
It's fun to blow
I
money
don't
like
care.
that. It's fun.
Yeah.
I like that. I get a kick out of that stuff. It's great. All right.
Yeah. Are
Is
we
there-
done?
Are we? I don't know. Are we?
Yeah, I think
yeah,
we're good.
I think we
We
are.
beat the hell out of this subject.
Is
Yeah.
that WAV file about to play?
No, it's not.
Okay.
It's muted.
Every week I freak out about that. He's like, "Oh, don't worry about it.
It's
Things,
muted.
guys. It's okay."
Yeah. See,
Okay.
it's not playing.
See, it's not. No, it's not. Look at that.
Yeah.
You guys have no idea what we're talking about right now.
I know.
The power. All right. This is episode 72 of Real Crime. We'll be back next week. We don't know what we're going to be talking about yet. So just come on
We are
back.
such forward-thinking
Yes, we
creatures.
are.
Yeah.
All right.
Visit us at www.themoviesleuth.com and find The Movie Sleuth on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and iTunes.